Hi, families. It's Cheryl from Tutoring with Cheryl. I'm the tech coach for tutors, and I'm stopping in to have you pause for a moment and think about parent teacher conferences. Now, depending where you're at here in the United States, it's fall, it's the first part of October. Some schools have already had their parent teacher conferences. They have them like within the first 6 weeks. Other schools kind of just gradually have them through the normal course of the end of the first quarter of the school year. And I'm just going to have you stop and reflect for a second about how can you prepare for these really big conferences. Number one, your teachers are super busy. For the most part, if you're going into an elementary conference, because I'm an elementary reading tutor, I'm going to talk mostly about that. You're probably going to have maybe 15 minutes, sometimes only 10 minutes to meet with the teacher. And the teacher has specific goals that they have a checklist of things that they want to get through with you. They want to show you any initial assessments from the beginning of the school year. They want to maybe give you some examples of work that your child has done. And then they want to report back with you about how things are going in the regular classroom and maybe encourage you to do some things at home. And that's about all the time that you're going to have. But I want you to also go prepared, okay? And the best thing that you can do is consider, what have you seen at home? What have you seen as far as what's come home from the school? Maybe you've checked online and you've looked at report card information, or maybe not report card information, but checkpoints. And the school is communicating through a tool such as PowerSchool. Maybe you've looked there. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is go and take a peek at all of that. If your child has several missing assignments, or you notice that something's missing, go and prepare to find out, why is the child missing this information, and what can you do at home to support that problem. Here's the thing, you're not your child. Your child is making their own decisions. We need to let them have a few failures. Don't go charging in, yelling at the teacher, why, this is your fault, this is your fault. No, it's probably not the teacher's fault. It's probably your child's fault. And it could have something to do with their strategies as far as organization, remembering things, writing down assignments, following through. Those are all things that you can work on at home. But it takes a village to raise a child, right? And your teacher is just one of the key players in helping to raise your child. But they only have your child at school for 7 hours out of the day. And then the rest of the time, they're with you. So the goal is to have good communication between the school and the family, and everybody's on the same page. You're all working towards the same goal. Let's say that you go to your conference and you find out that your child is behind. Maybe their grades are, a little bit lower. Maybe things have gotten a little bit harder this year. Ask questions like, what would be the best thing that we could practice at home to help support you so that our child can, you know, fill in the gap or move forward quickly? And then whatever the teacher suggests for you, follow through. They're not just coming up with these ideas. Oh, this sounds like a good idea. Oh, no, wait, this sounds like a good idea. They have some real experiences and they know what will work. If you have a newer teacher, don't panic. They're going to have some ideas too. But you can always go out and you can do your own research on things that can help your child, or you can contact, a former teacher like myself and ask, hey, what do you think might work for this particular problem? Now, here's the other thing. If your child is getting some supports, like they're on a 504 plan and an IEP plan, that 15-minute conference could also have the person who's documenting or doing the interventions or providing the support for your child for their IEP in there, and you might not have any time for your questions. So let's say that you run out of time for your questions. Are you just going to give up and say, oh, darn, I don't have any time for my questions? No, what you're going to do is you are going to say, would it be possible for me to have a phone call sometime this week? I had a few more questions and I'm noticing that we're running out of time. And then say, can I get on your calendar for just 10 minutes of time before or after school? Or could I stop in when I drop my child off? I have a couple more questions, but I know you're really busy. They're not going to say no. They're probably going to appreciate that, because then they're not going to then be late for the next 10 conferences that they have for that day. So going prepared with your questions is really important. And now I'd like to focus on some reading questions and some questions that I jotted down. If they don't tell you what kind of the level your child is reading at, just ask, is my child reading on grade level? Are they above, right at, below? Are they struggling with their fluency, their accuracy, their comprehension, their vocabulary? Because by asking those questions, you're going to have specific things that you can target at home. Ask, what are their strengths in the classroom? What is something that we need to work on? If you keep hearing things like they're interrupting, they're not paying attention, they're off task, they're unable to start and finish something, that's something that you can work on at home. That doesn't mean that the teacher can come up with all of the answers. That means that you should take note of that and you should be working on that at home as well. Finding out what their challenges are is a great way for you to help support the teacher. So ask what the challenge is, ask if there's anything that you can do. If the teacher doesn't have really any ideas, say, I'll check back and maybe and give you a little bit of time. Maybe you can provide us with some resources. Now, if your child's teacher provides you with resources, please do not ignore them. They went to a lot of time and effort to collect those resources for you. And so then now it's up to you to spend some time at home, 10, 15 minutes out of your entire day working with your child on whatever that happens to be. And did you know that if you just spend 10 or 15 minutes a day working on this skill, the skill is going to become a lot easier for your child, and your child's going to perform better in the classroom and probably have fewer behaviors as far as like feeling frustrated, shutting down, feeling anxious. We want our kids to have a really positive experience in the school system. And so I'm just here to, as a resource to help with that for you. Now, if your child is a struggling reader and you've tried everything at school, you've worked with them, you've done everything that you possibly can, I'm going to invite you to schedule a Meet the Tutor conversation with me. You and I can meet on a digital conference call just like this. Happy to listen to the struggles that your child has. I'm happy to give you some things that you can try at home. And then if you'd like to move forward with me as your child's tutor, we can talk about that as well. I build readers and writers one word at a time. Sounds like that'd be a pretty slow process, right? But it's not, because it does take time to overcome big issues. The sooner you hit the problem with a solution, the faster the solution will solve the problem. The longer you wait to solve the problem, the longer it's going to take to solve the problem. So I would like to encourage you, if you've got a younger child in school and you're hearing anything like they're behind, but it will take time, they'll get caught up, we're going to try these things, don't wait. Get involved right away. Reach out with any questions that you might have. Feel free to hop over to tutoringwithcheryl.tutorbird.com. Find out more about me and the solutions that I offer for students. Schedule your Meet the Tutor lesson, and let's get your child back on the right track. You guys make it a great day, and as usual, keep the learning going.